Hi everyone! I hope that you are staying safe at home. I really miss our class time together and I've really appreciated all of the emails, texts, and phone calls I've been getting from everyone. When you have questions, it really helps me make the course a lot better for everyone else and to think about how to fix maybe some existing problems that I didn't know about. So keep up the communication. If you have any questions, concerns, please let me know. So here we are. You made it to Unit 4. I've been really proud of all the work everyone's been doing because I know English class probably isn't your top priority right now. But here we are. We're in the last 4 weeks of the semester. Unit 4 will appear in your course list over here, and you can kind of just focus on this unit for the rest of the semester. You might have to go back and review some things from different units. Unit 1 and 2, you probably have like notes from when we actually met in class, but for Unit 3, you can review that information using Blackboard. All right, so we have a couple changes to Unit 4. This is going to be kind of a mashup of our traditional course assignments and a bookless online class. This kind of takes into consideration students who are using campus resources for books. And you'll also notice that unfortunately it has to get a little bit boring. There's not a lot of images or bells and whistles. There are some videos, so that's fun. But that's just making it a lot easier for people who are working on handheld devices. So let's kind of check out, we're going to kind of go through each week. Let's check out week 12. For each week, you'll see this context, and it will talk about what's happening during the week. And then underneath the context, there are the course objectives that we're meeting. This may be interesting to you. It's probably more interesting to the state who is giving us credit for this course. So you'll see for week 12, we're finishing up Essay 3, and beginning Essay 4. So you'll submit Essay 3 and you'll be introduced to the text that you will use for Essay 4. So your Essay 3 submission is due on Friday, April 10th. That's just the due date that has happened since we became virtual for Essay 3. But most of the weeks in this unit are actually going to open on Sunday and run until Saturday. So a lot of your assignments are going to be due Saturday, but keep in mind that Essay 3 is due Friday, April 10th, just because that sort of fits. You'll notice in the instructions that apart from submitting Essay 3, you'll want to view 3 videos on the effects of technology, and then you'll complete a response paper assignment. And it tells you that the response paper assignment, it's a little bit different from our traditional response papers, so let me know if you have questions about it. So kind of thinking about, here's our 3 videos, here's the response paper, thinking about maybe some time management for this week. A student might be waiting to get feedback back from the revision and editing worksheet that you submitted on Blackboard from last week. And so you might kind of start watching the videos. I think they're about half an hour-ish each. So you might say, well, Monday I'm going to watch a video, Tuesday I'm going to watch a video, Wednesday I'm going to watch a video, and then maybe Thursday and Friday I'm going to devote to working on that Essay 3 assignment to make sure that I get that in before Friday. And then Saturday I can go back and look at the response paper requirements. And this response paper, again, is a little bit different from a traditional response paper. It's kind of a mashup of our class discussion and kind of how we would discuss these if we were having face-to-face classes. But then it's also trying to make you do a lot of writing and thinking about these ideas. So it's going to count for a little bit more than just an in-class assignment. It's going to count as a response paper grade. So what you will do is you will watch each video and you will answer the questions about the video. Now, the answers to these questions are not going to be one sentence. They're probably going to be a paragraph. So if we look at kind of the first question about the video, is Google making us stupid? It asks, is multitasking possible according to Carr? Now that's starts off as a yes/no answer, which you should probably rephrase as a complete sentence, right? According to Carr, multitasking is not possible. And then you will have to explain why not. And you're probably going to want to pull some ideas from the video as you are thinking about that specific answer to that question. Now, pulling ideas from the video is going to be really helpful for writing your essay 4. All right, so that's kind of how week 12 is going to work. And if we look at week 13 here is where we start getting into essay 4. So the context tells us during this week we're submitting a rough draft of essay 4. And the only instructions and assignments for the week is to complete that rough draft. Now there is a folder if you are having a hard time getting started or don't really know where to begin or what you are thinking about writing about. There is a folder for ideas for writing an argument. So if we look at the rough draft Dropbox for essay 4, it has the assignment parameters listed here. I've been using attachments. Those haven't been working so well for some people, so I'm trying to write some really concise assignments and include them in the text on Blackboard. So if you need some more explanation, if you want some more examples, please feel free to contact me. I'm here for that. And so essentially what you're doing with essay 4, this goes back to week 13, you are thinking about an argument that supports or refutes a related issue of technology raised in those videos from week 12. So for example, Sherry Turkle argues that social media has blurred the definition of intimacy for young people in America. Especially during these times, you might argue that no, it really hasn't. It's really been actually important to maintaining intimacy. Or you could agree with her and talk about how in your experiences that it is actually not maintaining relationships like you hoped it would. And so you will start by kind of thinking about your ideas regarding one of those arguments, and then you're going to develop your own argument kind of based in those, supported with sound logical reasoning and evidence. You're also going to use pre-selected sources that are available on Blackboard. This is really similar to essay 3, where you were using pre-selected sources from the textbook and our course to write your essay 3. And so if you're interested in the ideas that Nicholas Carr presents in his Google Making Us Stupid, you would click on the sources folder and you've got 3 sources in there that you can use for your essay. All right. We also, again, have a folder that has ideas for writing an argument in it. There's an argument handout, writing for success, and argument papers. And these are all from open source sources. So please, again, feel free to ask me questions. We are also, with this essay, jumping into all 3 parts of documentation. Now for essay 3, you really only had to work on signal phrases and creating a works cited page. For essay 4, we're adding the 3rd piece of formal documentation. You're still going to use signal phrases in the text of your paper, but we're also working on parenthetical references. Now the MLA calls those in-text citations. And so if you're unfamiliar with those, you probably want to check out that link. I would also recommend looking at a sample paper. I think a sample paper is always really helpful. Give those a try on your rough draft. Try out all the documentation for the sources that you're using in your rough draft and get feedback on them. We're also going to work on them with revision and editing during week 14. So let's check out how week 14 works here. Right, so week 14, it tells us this week you will continue revising and editing your essay 4 rough draft and write a response paper regarding a Writing Center workshop video. Okay, so this is kind of starting to sound like some assignments from our face-to-face class. Pretty cool. You've already written a Writing Center workshop paper, so you got one of those under your belt. You kind of know how it goes. This is kind of a week where I'm going to have your rough drafts and be dealing with those, and you get to kind of rest on your laurels a little bit. You still have to do some work. So how the Writing Center workshops are working in this virtual format is that underneath, here's the link for submitting the assignment here. And then it's got questions to consider and a sample outline. But how the virtual Writing Center workshops are going to work, they're all in this folder. And they are videos created by the Cincinnati State Writing Center and other open source resources about different ideas for English composition. Now, there are only 4 videos in there right now. I've been promised some more, so we'll see what happens when we finally get to this week 14. The videos are about half an hour a piece. You might check out the titles first. So we've got one so far on writing and rhetoric. We've got papers and essays, a crash course study skills, how to write an effective essay, the introduction, and who can you trust, navigating digital information. So some of those you might say, well, the introduction might be really relevant to me. I get points off for the organization of my essay because my introductions aren't always great. And others might just be kind of interesting to you in general. So when you're reading information about COVID-19, the coronavirus, it might be interesting to you to figure out how you should navigate digital information and who you should trust. Just a note, these crash course videos, that they talk really quickly. And so you might end up having to watch that more than once to write a nice response paper. And then again, there's the response paper link to submit that. Let me know if you have questions about how that works. This week, you will also do a self-revision and editing worksheet. Works just like the self-revision and editing worksheet from Unit 3 that you did for Essay 3. All right, so the final week, your concern is finishing up Essay 4 and bringing the semester to a close. Notice the only instruction that you have is to check out editing and proofreading tips and to submit Essay 4. You'll also notice, though, that there are some extra credit / optional assignments available. I had promised people extra credit. There were a couple opportunities that were sort of in flux during our face-to-face meetings that people are not able to attend now because we're not on campus. And so I tried to come up with some assignments that will replace those. So those are all due. If you don't need to do any of those, don't worry about them. Just worry about Essay 4. But those are all due Saturday, May 2nd. Essay 4 is due the last day of the semester, and that's Monday, May 4th. That's when the semester ends. So you even have a little bit longer than a week to work on that. The extra credit optional assignments will all be in this folder. They're not in there right now. I'll get them in there by the end of this week, hopefully. And you can also contact me if you would like a breakdown of your grade for the semester. So I can kind of tell you like, oh, hey, you might not want to take that comprehensive quiz because your quiz grade's pretty good, but you probably should turn in 1 or 2 of the response paper assignments. All right, so that should get us to the end of the semester. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I really do love hearing from you. It was fun to look at everyone's discussion boards. So keep checking in and keep staying safe. I will talk to you later. Have a great Unit 4. Bye.